Hello, everyone. My name is Alisha M'Jestie Brooks, and I'm a dreamer. I was born to be a dreamer. Since I was a kid, I remember sitting around thinking, hey, what can I get my family for Christmas? Even though I was 7 years old without a job and had no plans on or any idea of how I could do that, I still had in my mind and my heart that I wanted to do something great for someone else. And no matter what, I had to think in my heart, how can I make that happen? Does anyone here have a dream? If you have a dream, raise your hand if you know what your dream is. That's a beautiful thing. Having a dream can be difficult. Having a dream can also be your reason worth living. I believe that dreams, they require a lot of hard work, but through following your dream, you can find your purpose and your reason for being alive. The difference between dreaming, for me, is that your dream is something that you want, right? It's something you say in your mind, hey, I want to do this. I want to be successful at this thing, and that's my dream. But I believe your purpose, when you truly find your purpose, is once you've been able to identify the compassion behind your dream. Why? Why do I want to be a doctor? Why do I want to be an artist? And for me, it was why did I want to become a songwriter. I want to take you on my journey of dreaming. I was born in Newark, New Jersey. It's a very difficult place to grow up. I grew up in Essex County, but being from Newark, going outside wasn't really an option for my family. They wanted to keep me inside and keep me safe, which for some people will say, hey, I never went outside, I never got to play. But for me, I got to read a lot. I got to write a lot and find out more about myself. What is it that made me different? When the spelling bee list came around in elementary school with all the words for the spelling bee, I learned all the words. One of my first dreams was to have a trophy. I remember going to kindergarten and someone came up with a trophy and I said, how'd they get that? Spelling bee, spelling bee. So 6 years in a row after that, I won the spelling bee because that was my dream. I knew I wanted to be great, and I was a great student. But then life happens, and life hits you and knocks you around a little bit. At the age of 14, with all the promise in the world, I became pregnant. This was a huge shock for my family because I just wasn't that kind of kid. I didn't fit the stereotype of someone who would do something like that. How could you? My mom, forget it. She didn't know what to do with me. But I had a dream. That dream was that I didn't have to work at Wendy's for the rest of my life. I was too young when my son was born. I was 15 and a half. I was too young to have a job. So when I turned 16, the first thing I did was run to Wendy's. Hey, this is the idea, right? Got to get Pampers, got to do the whole thing. But inside me, I still had a dream. I wanted to write songs. There's a group called Crisscross that came out in the 90s. They had a song called Jump. Does anyone know that song? It was really cool. Hey, if you turned the music on right now, you wouldn't be able to stop me from spitting out my lyrics. But when I heard that song, something hit me. And everyone has that song in their life where something just hits them like, hey, this is, crazy song, right? And that started my vision of being a songwriter. How did they do this? How did they make me being so inspired? How did they make me want to jump? I wanted to jump all the time. So immediately, not understanding, I sat down and got a pen and started writing a song called Skip. And I said, well, if it's not jump, it can be skip, and it's close enough, right? But my dream of being a songwriter, but then I had a baby. How do you do that? My family was afraid. They wanted me to be successful. I left high school, went and got my GED. That scared them even more. Then I became the youngest one in my college. It was a county college, but I was the youngest one there, and I was there. So then it was like, okay, great. She'll be okay. And I remember going to school because I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be something important. I wanted people to be better because I was in this world. And I just couldn't shake it. My first English paper I wrote had a poem at the end, and when I got it back, it had all these red marks on it. I was like, what's wrong? It was so poetic. That's when I realized I didn't belong there. How much courage it took for a 16-year-old to leave college when everyone was so proud. But my dream was to be a songwriter. And I didn't know how to get there. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know anybody who was a songwriter. So how was I going to do it? I guess a little bit of faith, huh? So with faith in tow, that didn't happen quite yet. I met a guy named David Connelly. I didn't know what to do, so I started just writing. Hey, I want to be a songwriter, right? Write some songs. After writing the songs, I would go out and I would do these shows. Still working at Wendy's, I would go out and do these shows and say, hey, hear my song. And anyone I could meet, I gave them my phone number. And I said, hey, if you ever know anything or know anybody, just give me a call. I was about 17 years old. A year later, I got a call from someone who said, hey, I heard you were a songwriter. Are you still writing songs? And I said, yeah. And they said, well, come on down. Let's hear some of them. This guy was signed to J Records, which is Clive Davis's new record label. And they introduced me to this guy here, David Connelly. He was in a group called Surface. They wrote songs such as Shower Me With Your Love and Only You Can Make Me Happy, and they were very popular in the 90s. But David Connelly changed my life. He changed my life because he believed in me. He took a look at me, heard my songs, and he said, hey, I want to teach you everything I know. You can come down to Virginia, and I was from New Jersey. You can come to Virginia, I'll put you on a train. I'll teach you everything I know and help you become a songwriter. Good deal, right? But you cannot bring your son. My son at the time was 3 years old, and it was a big decision to make. But sometimes your dreams require great sacrifice. And I knew that I didn't want my son to see me working at Wendy's for the rest of my life. I knew I had more to give to the world. My first song that I wrote in the studio in Virginia, because I had such drive, made it to the desk of this guy. This is Clive Davis. Clive Davis is very, very popular. He discovered Alicia Keys, Whitney Houston. He's an amazing guy. And David Connelly told me, he said, how'd you do that? And of course, me being a kid, I'm like, well, do what? He said, your first song that you wrote with me made it all the way to the desk of Clive Davis. He said, it took me 10 years to get to Clive Davis. How'd you do that? I don't know. Maybe I had faith, and maybe it's my purpose or part of my story. Clive Davis rejected my song. Within a year, and when I say this within a year, I don't want you to think, oh, within a year, it happened right away. Within a year, I was still away from my son. So within a year after that, still writing every day. I remember Pick would come knock on the studio. Hey, it's time to get dressed, time to get ready to go down to the studio. And I'm like, oh, please stop knocking. But one day, I remember walking to 7-Eleven. I had no money. I had no job there. I was just living there and surviving. And my mom would send me these care packages. And I remember walking back from 7-Eleven, I see him standing in the middle of the street. And Pick is blind, by the way, which is incredible. I love him to death. He has no fear in the world, and he's so successful. He's in the middle of the street, waving his stick. He's like, M'Jestie, I know you're coming down the street. I'm sure someone told him. We got a call from Rockefeller Records. And Rockefeller Records, for me, being from an urban area, was a big deal. Jay-Z was there. It's a big deal. Oh, my goodness. Damon Dash was working on a project, and he wanted me to be a part of it. He was working with Victoria Beckham from Spice Girls, and they said, hey, come to New York, write these songs, and let's see what happens. I worked for him for 1 week, and I worked for Victoria Beckham. I got a chance to experience paparazzi and everything. I made 10 grand in a week. I said, whoa, I think I want to be a songwriter. Chris Anacute, young kid from the same neighborhood I was from. Nothing special about him, right? Just a regular kid running around. He had a dream. His dream was to be Clive Davis and to be L.A. Reid. But he didn't really know how to do it either. He was just running around pushing music. And he said, "M'Jestie, let me take your music. I think I can make a difference for you." Within another year, it takes time, I was working with this gentleman, P. Diddy, on one record, which ended up on the radio, which was one of my dreams, to be on Hot 97. And on the radio, when I heard the song, it didn't sound like my song. They had changed it. Oh my goodness, how could someone change my song? It's my dream, it's mine. You can't change my stuff. And I said, I don't want to do this anymore. You changed my song. How could this happen to me? But I kept writing. This is 16-year-old Robin Rihanna Fenty. She was from Barbados, and people were interested in her, and they needed a song. I had written a song that was perfect for her 9 months prior. She met a guy named Jay-Z because he heard my song and thought it was incredible and wanted to use it as her first single. Ponder Replay came out in 2005. My son was 18 years old. And in the few years that would follow that, I would make over $3 million. At an award show, I met this man. This is Crosby, Stills, and Nash. Graham Nash was at a BMI award show. I went to the award show. I was famous. And I remember sitting there feeling so empty. I said, I don't feel like this is my dream. There's no confetti. Where's the confetti? Where's the, no confetti with your dream. But I remember being outside. I met with the president of BMI. He took me to breakfast, and this guy came out, and he said, "Hey, you're a writer, right? You won last night." I said, "Yes." And he said, and he won an Icon Award. I wanted to be this guy, right? Who wants to write Ponder Replay when you can be this guy? And I said, hey, he said, being a writer is so important because writers rule the world. What you write down on a piece of paper can change the world. What you think and the way you see the world can change the world. Be careful what you write. Be careful what you put into the world because you can make a difference. That stuck with me, and I realized that all I had ever done, I had the attention of the world. My dream was to have the attention of the world. I had that, and all I said was turn the music up. It's pretty sad, right? I wanted to do something different. From that inspiration, I said, you know what? I don't want to just say turn the music up. I want to tell the world to dream. So I created a company called Dream Little Dreamer, and it was hard. It was difficult because everyone in the industry said, where are you going? You just made $3 million. Come back. We need that money. And I just wanted to do something different. I believe that children can change the world. I believe if we teach them to dream when they're young, they can change the world. I had an 8-year-old in my office the other day, and I looked at her. I said, what's your dream? She said, I want to be a singer and an actress. I said, great. What if I told you I can make all your dreams come true, but you have to give me all your toys? And this little 8-year-old, poor thing, her eyes got watery. And I'm like, oh no. And her mom immediately wanted to step in and tried to console her. And she said, no, Emma, you don't have to give away all your toys. And in my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, you do. I said that to her, and I went on to continue to tell her I wanted a Camaro. Who remembers when the Chevy Camaro first came out? What? I need me one of those. I went to the lot, and I said, I would like to have a Chevy Camaro. They said, hey, we'll give it to you. About 3 blocks away, I didn't buy the car. 3 blocks away, I said, I'll come back tomorrow and get it. And they said, hey, I thought to myself, I said, hey, if I'm willing to spend $32,000 on a car, I need to invest in my dream. And that's how I got the company, Dream Little Dreamer. I said no to the Camaro, and I said yes to the real dream. And the real dream, aside from being a songwriter, was to be able to help other people find their purpose and to help these kids find their dream within, to have compassion for everybody. Like, I love everybody in this room. I don't know you, but I love you, and I can't explain it any different. I remember the first time I tried to get a commercial for Dream Little Dreamer, put on TV. Hey, we're here. We're going to help make your dreams come true. And the lady looked at me, and she said, well, what are you selling? And I said, I want to help people make their dreams come true. And she said, well, okay, I get it, but what are you selling? I want to help people make their dreams come true. It's interesting. I remember driving around and saying, you know what, maybe the Camaro wasn't for me. Maybe because I continued to dream, and maybe because the dream got bigger, and maybe because I have compassion, maybe it's meant for me to have a Lamborghini. And that's a great way to think about it, right? If you don't have a dream board, please get one. It's great motivation. Dream big. Dream City University I created, Dream Little Dreamer and Dream City University I created in Virginia Beach, Virginia. And we have students that join us for online classes as far away as New Delhi, India. These are kids who want to be in the music industry. If your kid wants to be a basketball player, you take them to basketball. If they want to be a football player, you take them to football. Ballet, you take them to ballet. I want to be a superstar, mommy. Go to bed. Make a snack. I just didn't think that was fair. And so we started Dream City University so that these kids could have a dream and follow their dream. So now, what's your dream? What can you believe in? What can you look forward to? My son is 16 years old. He just brought home a really good report card for a 16-year-old. And I'm proud of him. His dream is to be in the NBA. He tore his ACL. I cried like a baby. His dream, my baby, his dream. What is your dream? And like someone said earlier, are you willing to die for it? Because I knew that taking a chance, I was willing, I was risking everything, all my money. I risked everything to make this company, to do what I did, to follow my dreams. This is Chris Anacute. I introduced him earlier. He changed my life. He went on to get a deal as an A&R. He wanted to be Clive Davis. He got his dream. He ended up signing Katy Perry and breathed life back into Kelly Rowland with a song called Motivation. And right now he manages an artist called BB Rexa, who has a great song on the radio now, Can't Stop Drinking About You. And I'm very proud of him. Rihanna won an Icon Award. I remember watching this from my couch saying, did I really have a part in this? It's an amazing feeling to have. Jay-Z became a mogul. He was just an artist before, but then after Rihanna's success, he became way more than that. And these are my kids. These are some of them. Some of the people that I work with. Some of these kids have worked with me for the last 4 years since I began. And their dream, they've opened up for 2,500 people at Chrysler Hall in Virginia Beach. And to hear people shouting, DCU, DCU, was such an amazing thing. We all have a dream. We all have a dream. Follow your dream. Find the compassion in your dream, why you do something. And together, we can change the world. Thank you.